Once again, my name is John Drew. I'm the Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management and very excited to be playing the MC for tonight's program. We had an enormous response from parents, guardians, and others out there that wanted to participate, so we really do appreciate that. This most likely will not be the last time you're hearing from us between now and September. We do find this type of programming to be effective, but if for some reason you're not able to participate in another program, do know that our offices are all operating. We may be remote, but we are certainly available. And some of the offices will be talking about that, but please do not shy away from calling, emailing, live chat with some of our offices if you have questions. I'm going to let the panelists introduce themselves. I believe, actually, before we do that, I'm going to kick off a very quick poll question. We have 3 questions that we'd like just so we get a sense of who is out there. Let me kick this off. We'll leave this live for just, maybe we'll give it about 60 seconds or so. We'll see how quickly people can read. I'm not sure why we even ask the first question. It's always billing.
Neck and neck, though.
That's true. That's good.
I like to see the blue lines. It's like a horse race.
I was just thinking that.
Oh.
Come on.
Okay, it's up and live for 54 seconds. If people are still answering, let me give it another 30 or 45 seconds or so. Great, a very high percentage that will be living on campus. That's wonderful. Be living right in that residence hall behind Melinda. That's where you will be.
Yay.
Okay, it looks like we've settled in there, and let me end this poll. And I think I can share results. So we asked a question around other topics that you'd like to hear more about. Billing, always a popular one, and we understand we are at that point. We're going to cover some of those topics this evening, so wonderful. But academics was close behind as well as housing. We will continue to have a communication plan, email, text messages, and programs like this to keep you, for us to stay connected. It looks like many are well on their way or in the process for getting vaccinated, which is wonderful. Hopefully you've received some of the announcements that we've made regarding that, and we can dig into that. And we have our resident expert here with us in health services this evening. And then housing preference, largely for today's crowd, most are looking to live on campus, about 68%, some commuting from home, and then a small percentage living off campus. So excellent. Let me now at this point turn it over to the panelists to introduce themselves. I'll help guide us through this so we don't all say our names and who we are at the exact same moment. Corey Ford, kick us off.
Hi folks, how's it going? Thanks for joining us this evening and congratulations on having chosen UMass Boston. My name is Corey Ford. I'm the Director of Enrollment Management. I oversee the Office of Undergraduate Admissions.
And this is in no particular order. These are not my favorites. I'm just doing this in the order that I see them. Katie Holland.
Oh, couldn't that be in your favorites? I'll go second after Court. Hi, everybody. We're so glad you're here tonight. I'm Katie Holland, and I'm the Senior Associate Director for Financial Aid Services. And I know lots of folks have some questions about financial aid, and hopefully we will be able to address them for you tonight.
Thank you, Katie. Melinda.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Melinda Davis and I am the Director of Housing Operations. I'm excited that so many of you are living on campus. That's really, really good to know. I'll be talking a little later about your questions that you submitted, including roommate matching and move-in day. So we will talk more soon.
And Phil.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Phil Beagle. I am the Director of New Student and Family Programs here at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. And I am so delighted to have as that job's responsibilities welcoming all of your students to the university in the oversight of our orientation program. But I also get to work with all of you as the parents and family and support system of our students to provide a orientation workshop series for you, which we'll be talking a little bit later about as well. So welcome and hope you enjoy this evening.
And Nina.
Hi, my name is Nina Williams and I'm the director of the OneStop, and maybe the OneStop doesn't really explain what we do, but we are the frontline office for financial aid, the registrar's office and the bursar's office. So we would be the first place that you would go if you have any concerns in regards to your financial aid, registration, or billing questions.
Thank you. And Rob.
Hi, Rob Pomalis. I'm the Executive Director of University Health Services, and that includes our general medicine clinic, our dental clinic, the counseling center, and the public health response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Rob. And Sharon.
Last but not least, Sharon Giroux. I'm the Senior Associate Director for Undergraduate Admissions. I work primarily with the first-year freshman counseling staff, many of whom you and your students have probably spoken with. So welcome tonight.
Thank you, Sharon. It has helped with a lot of the coordination for tonight's program, so thank you for that. Okay, so as part of my opening remarks, I'm going to give you a bit of a background information. I'm going to address a couple of things right off the bat that we know are top of mind to everyone. And then we are going to move, each presenter has a slide, which is a few bullets that will cover some of the questions that we received in advance. And then we're quickly going to move to kind of the Q&A section of this. We want to, I guess, hear from you as much as we possibly can and make sure that we're addressing those questions. That really is the goal of tonight's program. So first, again, congratulations and kudos to getting to this point. This has been an incredibly long recruiting cycle, I'm sure, for all of you, and the college search process is always daunting, but it was made even more challenging, I think, this cycle. I think a year ago I said I didn't know what it looked like to recruit a class that may not be able to step foot on campus. We are a campus, as you can see from some of the pictures I have in the background, that is just absolutely beautiful. Water on three sides, and it's a remarkable place to work, but it's also a remarkable place for us to be able to show off to prospective students and parents. It's really special. And so I know some of you have been able to see it through virtual and other programs, but we certainly, we didn't take lightly the fact that this has been a challenging year to be doing a college search. So we commend you on getting through it. And I think there certainly is a light at the end of the tunnel for all of this. So we're very excited about that as well. Right off the bat, let me note that we are planning for a return in the fall. Obviously, like everyone, we have to continue to monitor all the public health and things, but things seem to be trending, which is really good news and in a really positive direction. And so right now we have a very active fall planning committee. I'm part of that group. It is meeting constantly. Rob is on that group as well, and constantly looking at what steps we need to take to make sure we're having, full robust return in the fall. Now, we'll continue to monitor things. We'll make adjustments as we need to, but at this point, we do anticipate a relatively normal, with maybe some adjustments and things, to a regular return to the fall semester. We have a communication cadence plan that really every week we'll be hitting you with different topics that we'll be sharing things around parking and transportation and meals and health and safety and HVAC systems, all of these things that are top of mind for people to make sure that we're doing everything we need to keep our communication safe. So those communications will be happening on a regular basis. But you should know that we are anticipating face-to-face classes. We've always offered online classes. We may have a little bit more variety of that. We may continue to offer some courses in what we have kind of coined as that remote modality. So a class that meets at a kind of a set time, but not face-to-face, utilizing different platforms. But for the most part, we do anticipate coming back in a regular face-to-face format. So that's a little bit of just kind of those logistical things and things that we know are on everyone's mind as they're thinking about starting in the fall. First day of classes, already our popular question, September 7th. Very excited. That is the Tuesday after Labor Day. So mark that date on your calendar. The other thing I want to just note, and then we'll get right into the meat of the program. You are joining UMass Boston, or your child, the student, is joining UMass Boston at, I think, really an amazing moment in our history. I've been at the university for 14 years, and I think it's really, we're at this moment where our leadership has coalesced around the idea of being a leading anti-racist health promoting campus. And that really means a lot to our students. It means a lot to our community. And it means that we have a lot of kind of soul searching to do and really understanding what our role is in higher education, in Boston, in Massachusetts, in society. And it's something we take very serious. So I think for our students coming to our campus, they're going to be able to be part of that. You're also joining us at a time where our academic programs have really been receiving some great accolades. And so you can look at some of the U.S. News and World Reports that have come out recently, specifically around our education programs. And we're really getting I think the credit that we've deserved. Also, always Boston, and there's some pictures here. Boston is our backyard. And it's really exciting to be thinking about coming to a campus in which, as the city becomes more vibrant again, right? And all those internship opportunities and opportunities to go downtown and experience the social life and clinical placement and all of those things. And so your education will be rooted in opportunities to participate in all of those city activities while still having a very safe, defined campus out here on the peninsula. So again, kudos to all of you for making it through this process. And we are very excited to be welcoming you to campus in the fall. I think at this point, we can proceed to the next slide. And oh, this is really exciting. I can start talking about it, but Corey, if you want to jump in as well. If you have been to our campus at any point recently, you will see that we are a construction site, but construction is very exciting. We are really changing the entire look of our campus. This is an enormous quad area that actually connects all of our academic buildings. It has tons of trees. I think someone has counted. I don't know how many. Maybe someone knows. Anyone know the exact number of trees?
I think they said upwards of 400 trees and 5.5 acre parcel in the center of campus.
So I challenge when the students arrive, someone should take up the task of counting every tree and making sure that we lived up to our expectations. This is a little bit of a long project, but certainly the students that are joining us this fall will be benefiting from this. Lots of green space, lots of space for there to be concerts and food trucks. And it's really just exciting to have an urban campus with this kind of green space that we all get to enjoy and be part of. So you will see, it doesn't quite look like this right now, but this is the future, this is the vision, and we are very excited about that. Any of my panelists want to add anything about this? Okay, we're going to keep on rolling then. Perfect. Next slide. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Katie Holland. When will it look like this? Kelsey, great question. We'll get you the exact timeline. I think it's by the beginning of 2022, I think was when it's wrapped up. Some of it's based on planting and that piece. The majority of all of the major demolition actually has happened. And now they're in what we affectionately know at UMass Boston as a pile driving time, where we're securing things. And then from there, you're kind of turning a corner to some of the more beautification aspects of the project. A great question. Okay, Katie, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, John. So we're going to jump right into financial aid and talk about completing some of the outstanding requirements that your student may still need to do. One of the important things to note is that you may have received an estimated financial aid award, and you want to make sure that you are doing everything you need to make sure that we can finalize your award. So if you haven't already done so, we always recommend everybody submit a FAFSA. And if your student, the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's what we use, everyone across the country uses it. But if you haven't done that yet, it is not too late to do so. And we recommend that you do that. So there's also the component of verification. So we actually have a video where you can go on to our website. I have the link. I will throw it into the chat. And that's going to take me some time because I'm not as tech savvy as I should be. But I promise you at the end, I will put these things that I tell you I'm going to put in the chat. I'm also going to include in that we are lucky enough in our office to have a verification specialist, Ashley Sterling, and I will give you her contact information, her email and her phone number, and you're certainly welcome to contact her directly. She's the best person to help you complete verification requirements. And verification is basically with just what it means. We're verifying the information that you provided on your FAFSA, and not everyone is required to do it. So if we're not at you or at your student, we've sent several we've sent texts and emails and notifications to students so they should know they can see the information on their to-do list in Wiser. And that video that I'm going to send the link to, put the link in the chat, is a video on how to get to be able to upload any missing information. So there were questions submitted about.
Katie,
yes.
Sorry, if you wouldn't mind, I actually, in advance of tonight's panel, we put together an entire website for parent FAQs, and I included your link for how to access documents. So I'm going to throw that up into the chat right now. I would encourage folks to go there. It's a lot of helpful links and FAQs across all of the different areas we're going to be discussing this evening.
Excellent. Thank you, Corey. See, so you've made my job easier. I'm going to jump to, and remembering that we are going to have an opportunity to answer questions after too. Accepting your awards and your loans. So that's a biggie, and a lot of people have asked that question. Any of the grant funds, scholarships, grants, tuition credits, they don't require, there's an assumption you're going to accept them because it's free money, and why wouldn't we? As far as the loans go, the student is always eligible for the loans, but they don't necessarily have to take them. What happens is in July, there's an awful lot of hurry up and wait. In July, we're going to post items to the to-do list. And the way that a student accepts their loans is they complete a master promissory note and they complete entrance counseling. And entrance counseling is the federal government requires it. It's done online, and it's basically educating the student about their rights and responsibilities as a borrower, because in a lot of cases this is the first time a student will be getting into it's a contract. They are borrowing money from the federal government and they're going to be paying it back. The student never has to borrow the full amount they're offered. They can reduce it. They can email the OneStop, and Nina will give out that information, or Corey probably has it included in his link as well. So the accepting of the loans, the loan will not, we say disperse, meaning it will not move over into a payment onto the bill until the master promissory note and the entrance counseling is done. And that can't be done until after those requirements are posted to the to-do list. So you want to be thinking about July, mid to late July, and you have until it happens almost immediately. It's an overnight thing. Within 24 hours, that will be updated, and everything will be set to be dispersed. There were questions about identifying alternative funding. So a lot of the alternative funding is loans, quite frankly. We have alternative loans. There's loans for parents. There's alternative loans for students. And again, the university is committed to providing services to students. And so we have a private loan manager, and his name is Ty Clements. And all of that information can be found on our website. All of our contact information, he's listed as the alternative loan manager. He will help you. And so the OneStop can also help you with this, determining how much it is. A lot of times families say, well, what do I need? And those are questions more for after orientation. And once a bill is produced, you'll be able to have those conversations with us over the summer, where we can actually be very, very specific to your specific bill and your aid. Because for everybody it varies. But please rest assured that we are available over the summer always to help you with your specific numbers. And Ty certainly is well versed in how to help you determine how much additional loan money you may need. So opportunities to work on campus, the Federal Work Study Program, and we also have a student employment program. So the Student Employment Office is available to help students. And the way that the student employment works is that they are, I have my hold on for 1 second, my little notes here. So once a student has a UMB email address, which happens once the student has deposited, there's a little bit of a processing time, and they have access to the UMass Boston email address, they can access the portal for looking for job opportunities. So we have on-campus and off-campus opportunities. The portal is called Handshake, and the information is available also on our website, and it also has the link to how to log in, how to start an account. The best time to be looking for work-study positions is July and August and September, July through September, because we're all going to be back on campus. We're all making our plans. We're going to know what job opportunities are available. If you log in now, don't panic. You're not going to see a lot of jobs. Those positions get posted mid to late summer, and the Student Employment Office is available to help anybody. And how can you apply outside awards and scholarships towards your bill? So those are called third-party payments, and that's outside scholarships, anybody other than really the family who is making a payment for you. So all the paperwork involved in outside awards and outside scholarships, third-party payments, needs to be submitted to the bursar's office, the billing office. So we have financial aid services and the bursar, which is basically the student account office. And what if you're trying to plan your payment? So for instance, if your student got at awards night for the high school, or at an award that they're getting $1,000 check from someplace, and they need to submit that and the paperwork, and then you want to go and make a payment for the remainder, you're able to subtract that as long as the bursar's office has the paperwork. And you can, again, I hate to keep saying the website, but that information, if you are looking up for third-party payments, is on the bursar's website and available to you. So again, we're going to have some questions and answer time later, but that's just in a nutshell, trying to answer some of those questions.
Thank you so much, Katie. Yes, we will. I've been monitoring the Q&A in the chat, and I will serve them up to Katie once we get through the next couple of presenters. We'll kick it over now, I think, to Nina.
Yep.
In the OneStop.
So, hi, again, I'm the director of the OneStop, and we're actually located in the upper level of the campus. So it's like the big glass building, big glass office that you'll see as soon as you walk in. So what I want to talk about is the fact that we use Wiser. So right now, your student, child, daughter, son is currently using my UMB portal, but you'll start hearing a lot about Wiser after a while, probably during orientation. That's where you register. When you register for classes, you'll register through Wiser. That's how you decline, reduce your student loans if you wanted to. You view your bill, you do your payment plan, like everything is on Wiser. So the OneStop can help you with that. You'll learn a lot from orientation in regards to Wiser, but just remember Wiser, the name, because that's the system that you will be using, or your child would be using while they're at UMass Boston. In regards to all the questions about waiving health insurance and everything is done through Wiser. Payment plan options, that's going to be available for you in July. The reason why we say July is because that's when the fall tuition bills come up. So at that point, if you have financial aid, you'll see your bill, and you'll also see pending financial aid, and then you'll see a remaining balance, or you could have excess money that's coming back to you. And so if you have a remaining balance at that point, you can sign up for the payment plan. The payment plan is offered for 4 months and 3 months. So the 4-month payment plan, the first payment would be due September 1st. And if you decided to do the 3-month payment plan, that would be in October 1st. Again, everything's in Wiser. If you needed assistance, we could provide that for you. Also, we have a link that I think I cut and paste. And so this is a great link for students who are using Wiser. It shows you how to add and drop a class, how to withdraw from a class. It shows you how to do the pass-fail option, how to sign up for the payment plan, how to waive the health insurance, how to waive the waivable fees. It has a video and also written explanations of instructions on how to do all of those things. So I kind of addressed that. So the health insurance is not going to be billed to you until the bills are generated, which is in July. So I've been receiving a lot of emails at the OneStop in regards to health insurance, because we know that's a hefty bill charge. I think it was like $2,700 last fall semester, and that's for the whole entire year. So just estimate that it's going to be about that for the fall semester this year. You can waive it if you have comparable insurance, and that access is going to be through Wiser, and you cannot waive it until you're actually billed for it, and the bill won't be available until July, and that's when the charges are generated, including the optional fees, which is the mass media and mass perg, which comes up to about $26, $9 for one, $17 for the other. That also is waivable, and you can also check that website that I put up, and they have the instructions on how to waive the optional fees there too. I think that covers everything that I have to talk about, and if there's any questions, I've answered a couple of questions in the Q&A, but again, you have to wait until the bill's generated in July, to see that you are billed for health insurance, to waive that and the optional fees, to sign up for the payment plan. Everything is Wiser, and everything basically on my little snapshot of the OneStop is based on July and everything being billed in July.
Thank you, Nina. Let me just quickly tie together a few things that both Katie and Nina talked about. So when students go to orientation, which we're going to queue up Phil in just a moment to talk and register for classes, that's what will then generate a bill. We begin billing in middle or so of July. That's the first opportunity. Students can log into Wiser. Students can give access to whoever they want. And all of you parents and guardians that are out there, if you take nothing else away from tonight, you should ask your child how they're going to grant you access to Wiser. That is key. And don't let them tell you they can't, because they can. There's a wonderful guest access, and they can choose. So I'm telling you this secret, they can choose whether to give you access just to your bill or to the bill and grades. I would recommend they give you access to everything.
Right.
But that's something you can negotiate. And then from there, you can see the bill, you can see courses, you can see everything. So please, that's a great way to make sure you're staying connected with us and with the student and really supporting them through their time here at UMass Boston. So check out the guest user access in Wiser. We will begin billing, as I said, in July. And then students and parents can sign up for the payment plan, breaks it down to at least 4 payments or 3, depending on which one you want. And we're here all summer to support you with alternative options for funding, making the education affordable. So that's a little bit of a few things that have been in the question and answer in the chat.
And if anybody's lucky enough, sorry. I was going to say, if anybody is receiving excess money for whatever reason, maybe you're borrowing alternative loan or Parent Plus loan, and as a result, you're receiving excess funding in order to assist you with housing, whether it's on campus or off campus, I recommend that you sign up for direct deposit. That's also a link, an instruction link on that link that I put in the chat. It's just easier than receiving a paper check and having to deposit it, waiting for it to be mailed to your address and deposit it, than to decide what you're going to do with it. So I think that's something very important that you should take from this meeting. Sign up for direct deposit, direct deposit, direct deposit.
Right.
And Katie, did you have a point?
Yes, I was just going to mention that I noticed there were questions about sitting down with someone. We're available for Zoom appointments, and I know it isn't the same. We do understand that, and yes, we are going to open, hopefully, eventually. We will meet with you over Zoom at any time, and we can pull up your information and share the screen, and we've had a lot of success with it. So please feel free to request Zoom appointments as well. Okay. Let's continue to roll on. And I think next up we have orientation, and Phil.
Absolutely. Thanks, John. So obviously orientation is something a lot of people have questions about, and we are so excited to very soon be welcoming your students, both to virtually and, if all goes according to plan, a in-person experience as well. So this summer, in order to address the COVID concerns, orientation, which is typically a 2-day experience for students, is being run as 2 separate 1-day experiences focusing on 2 very important topics. Part 1 is going to focus strictly on academic success and preparing you for the in-classroom experience, and that is going to take place virtually in June and July. The university is contracted with a wonderful external company that runs a conference-style virtual platform known as Hopin that we're going to be using, and students will be getting information about this as they register to be able to actually join us via that platform for a wonderful virtual experience that will include not only presentations everybody will see, but also portions of the day where they will be able to choose from a variety of topics, the ones that they most relate to and would like to learn more about that are more specific to them. So those experiences are going to be running from 9:30 until 12:45 on the days of those orientation sessions. And the platform is actually going to remain open till 2 to allow your students to engage with this whole Expo Info Fair area, which will have even more information than what we're sharing with them in the first presentation portion of the day. During part 1, which by the way, I should clarify, orientation is required for all new students entering the university. There are a few subsection groups of students such as DSP students who have a different orientation experience for part 1, but they will be told that. Everybody, unless you are told you do not have to attend this orientation by our office, you should be planning to attend this orientation. And students can sign up to do so through their MyUMB portal. For instructions on how to do that or a link to the website, you can visit our website, and I will put the link in the chat. It is just umb.edu/orientation is a quick shortcut to get there. And that'll provide details as well as the steps to register. So during phase 1, you'll hear all about how to prepare for your academic success. And at that, you'll actually students will meet their academic advising team for the first time, and they will get information about how to book or be assigned their registration appointment to pick their actual classes after that orientation session. So that is in fact how you'll be registering for classes. And we hope that that will be beneficial. The academic teams have learned through doing these virtual meetings with students that it's a really good opportunity for them to have more one-on-one conversation in a more private manner than what has happened in previous years when everybody's kind of all been crammed into a computer lab trying to register for classes. So some good things have actually come out of this challenging year. During phase 1, we will be letting students know more about part 2 of orientation, which it does look like the stars are aligning to have on campus. We're working on the final logistics for that, but it is moving that way, and we are excited. And that will take place end of July, first 2 weeks of August, specifically focusing on all the other stuff outside of the classroom. So what does it mean to be a student on campus? How do I access resources that have nothing to do with my academics, but do have to do with my success as a UMass Boston student? How do I get involved in a club or an organization or find my place at this university? That's really what our job and goal is beyond academic success, is ensuring that students are making the most of their college experience. You know, college, although you are here to get a degree, it's also to develop life skills and get opportunities to do things that you may never get another chance to do in your life. So why not take advantage to the fullest of the experience and be involved outside the classroom as well? So details will be forthcoming for that. I also wanted to mention, because I know there was a question about commuter student involvement, I would highly encourage you to have your students attend that part 2 of orientation as well, because that is where they're going to hear about all of the ways that they as a commuter student can get involved. And even before then, they can check out a wonderful website called UMB Involved, which we'll also share some information about. And that is a website that lists all of our clubs, organizations, offices connected to student engagement. That is a beautiful place for students to find out about things that they can get involved in on campus, even as a commuter. So that's kind of the key things I wanted to mention about the student orientation. Family programs is the other side of the team that I get to work with. And I want to clarify that family programs is not just for your support during your student's first year at the university. Family programs is intended to be your support system during your student's experience for their entire undergraduate college experience. So our goal is to be your partners through that entire journey until your student walks across the graduation stage. Our email is very easy for family programs. It's family@umb.edu. We can answer any questions that you may have along the way. And similar to how Nina mentioned that the OneStop is designed to be a location for all of the areas that her team helps support, our family programs office is designed to be the place for you to turn for the topics that aren't related to the things that Nina handles. So when you don't know where to go we can help point you in the right direction in those areas too. So you're not wandering around aimlessly, emailing people or calling phone numbers. That's what we're there for. But the first step for that for family programs is going to be providing you with a parent and family orientation series. Information is going to be coming out about that in the next few weeks. The plan this summer is to run that as a 9-part workshop series that we will run in 2 cycles, 1 cycle through June and 1 cycle through July, for you to be able to attend and learn about a series of topics related to academics, involvement, campus resources, and beyond. We do hope that you'll be able to join us for those. And then throughout the year, we will continue to offer workshops on additional topics to engage you as parents of our student population. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Phil. So I think to recap a little bit, June orientation, that's when students will register for their courses. Stay tuned for hopefully a face-to-face program in late July or August if everything goes as planned. But it's really important for students to participate in that initial day 1 program. That will allow them to get secure their classes, and then that's what triggers some of the other things, including bills. Next presenter is going to be Rob to talk a little bit about health services.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first, let me start by acknowledging that I cannot possibly do justice to all of your questions, concerns, anxieties that you might have at this very challenging time. So I want to start by telling you that if you have any question that I don't address or any concern or something that you'd rather discuss more privately, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at uhs@umb.edu. That email is monitored by myself and our directors of general medicine and the counseling center. And whoever is the most appropriate person to answer your question will respond to you within 24 hours. That's our goal. I also want to direct you to our website. If you go to the main page for the university, you'll see the student life tab, and you'll find us there. And there we have a description of our scope of services and also a great deal of information about our COVID-19 response. So let me just start telling you a little bit about what we do. We are a primary care provider. We're a full scope of service primary care provider. We have a general medicine clinic with physicians, nurse practitioners, nurses, a lab, an x-ray machine, and the ability to address really most of the healthcare concerns that are common in this particular age group. Our providers specialize in this very specific, emerging adulthood, adolescence period. We can be a really nice transition between pediatric care and adult care. So we would be very happy to be your primary medical provider for your student. But if they have an established primary care provider, we can also just be available as urgent care if they happen to feel sick on any particular day. I know that there's questions about health insurance. I can answer any questions about the plan. It's a Blue Cross Blue Shield product called HMO Student Blue. The only thing I can't answer, which Nina can, is about the billing of the insurance. I can help you with everything else regarding insurance. We do not require that a student have the student health insurance in order to be seen. We will accept virtually any insurance that is issued in the United States. So even if you have an out-of-state insurance, we will accept that. By law, we have to collect a copayment or deductible, and that's dictated by your insurance. However, I want you to understand that our goal is to ensure the academic success of your student. So insurance status or the ability to pay the copay or anything else really will never be an obstacle to providing care. If the student comes to see us, we are going to offer the care, and then we can talk about, payment plans or any other arrangements or accommodations that we can make in order to ensure that your student receives the care they need. We also have a counseling center, which is staffed by psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, and case managers who offer the full range of mental health services. These services are at no cost to your student. We do not bill insurance. Again, it's at no cost, and we will see any student. We do have 24/7 emergency coverage. We have a nurse line that is available 24/7 and a counseling line that is also available 24/7 and is accessible regardless of where the student may be. So even if it's on a Saturday night when they've gone back home to Connecticut, for example, they can still call that line and we will still be able to offer services. And finally, we do have our health education and outreach program, which at the present time, as you can imagine, is almost entirely devoted to our management of our COVID-19 response. We are managing all of the testing and clinical care for our staff, faculty, and students. I won't spend much time. I know we're very limited on time talking about what exactly is going on with our COVID response. But rest assured that we're following all of the best practices in the industry for mitigation and containment. We have had really great success. We have not seen any widespread outbreaks on campus throughout this entire year. And as you might know, we actually diagnosed the very first case of COVID-19 in the eastern United States and the 8th in the country. So we have been involved and invested in this from the very, very beginning. And we are very pleased to know that we really have had minimal contagion on campus. And we're very optimistic that as the situation improves, we will be able to maintain that record going forward.
Thank you so much, Rob. Appreciate it. I think that our last slide, but certainly not least, is housing. And there's lots of questions about housing, Melinda, so take it.
Yes, I will get going and hopefully I will answer many of your questions. So first, I just want to give a quick rundown of how to reserve a room on campus. Many of you who have submitted your enrollment deposit also submitted a $300 reservation fee. Once that is completed and cleared, the student would then have access for the housing application. So the student would then need to sign into the MyUMB portal again, and under the admission status tab, they will have access to the housing application. There they complete their application. Our office would then get the application and we would send a license agreement. Now the license agreement would need to be signed by both the student, and then a link would be sent to the guarantor or parent or guardian, whomever the student listed on their housing application as a co-signer for the license agreement. The process can be often complicated, but we're happy to share that. But those are the general steps: reservation fee, housing application, license agreement. Once the license agreement is signed, the student is confirmed for a room in the building, for a space. They're not confirmed for a particular type of room. There has been some confusion there. Room selection is done later, and I will jump right into that. So the next section for students who will be living in the building that will be happening is early June. We'll be opening up the next section of the housing application, which will be for students to complete a personal profile. This is where they'll answer questions about themselves, which will help us to match them with another student. We do give students the option to go in and literally pick their own bedroom. There will be dates, there will be directions that we will email to the student, and also on occasion to the guarantor as well. So please make sure that all students are checking their UMass Boston email account. That is how our office communicates with all students. So we will email before each of these processes begin with directions, and certainly can ask us if you have any questions about that. Our office email, which I'll mention several times, is housing@umb.edu. So students will complete that next section. If students do not choose a roommate or choose a, sorry, not roommate, but choose a bedroom during that actual time that we permit, we will assign students to a room based on their preferences that they've listed. Oftentimes we get questions of, well, what if I don't know who I want to live with? That's why we have you complete the personal profile section. If you do know someone you want to live with, you both can sign in when we open the roommate selection time or room selection time, and you can go in and actually choose a room together. You know, say I want to be in room 232. Both of you sign in, you see 232, you pick that space. Now you two are living together in that space. So of course, as that process opens up, we're happy to answer any questions about that. In terms of notification, if students don't select a room and they want to know what they've been assigned to, at the beginning of August, we will email information on the resident portal. The resident portal is where you would be able to put a work order in if a toilet was clogged, the light was out in your room, anything like that. You can sign in and add the work order. Payments can be made to the office for housing balances, and also emails can be given to our office. But specifically in August, when you sign into the portal, you will see on the left-hand side who your roommate or roommates are and their contact information, which is great to chat about who's bringing what into the room so you don't have duplicate items. So again, more information will be shared. Starting the beginning of June, we will be sending newsletters out with upcoming information and important reminders to remember throughout the summer. So definitely continue to check, and those reminders will go to guarantors and students. Move-in. There have been questions about move-in. So typically move-in is Labor Day weekend, which is the first weekend of September. This year we are still working with Rob and his team on requirements for testing prior to moving into the building and social distancing guidelines. So we have over 1,000 students that need to move into the building. So we will not have one move-in day. There will definitely be several days, and we're guessing it may be a 3 or 4 day process, but we will communicate that throughout the summer, but definitely expect that it will be the last week of August into that first weekend of September, and more specifics will definitely be coming. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is about residence hall programming. We do have 31 RAs in the building and 4 professional staff, and they all assist with programming and collaborate with various offices and departments on campus to provide both social and educational programs for students. These are on mainly nights and weekends, so when the students are not in class, they definitely have something to do. We also have a residence hall association, which is like a residence hall government, where students can bring concerns or ideas they have to enhance the residence hall experience. We are definitely open to hearing those as well, and students can be part of that. And finally, we do have living learning communities, and these are areas of the building where students can choose to live on a particular floor and also participate in programming that happens on those floors. So we have First Forward, which is programming geared towards first generational education students or first generational college students. We have Health and Wellness, which collaborates with other departments on campus for programming around health and wellness. And then the last is Leadership for Social Change, which is programming focused on social justice. So hopefully I answered most of your questions, but again, our office email is housing@umb.edu, and we have a lot of information on our website, so I will post our website in the chat so that you will have that and hopefully can get additional information.
Thank you so much, Melinda. What size are the beds?
Twin extra long.
That is,
Remember the extra long.
Remember the extra long. Okay, great. Yes, meal plans are required for those that live in the residence hall. You can go online. There's 2 different choices. The price is the same, but what's different is one has more points where one has more meals. So we encourage you to look at that. Did I get any of that wrong, Melinda? Okay.
I did not.
Corey's going to be promoting in the Q&A or in the chat, I guess, a link to a parent FAQ. And there is a section there, Corey, for meal plan or dining, right? Because we're getting some questions about that.
Yeah, definitely. There's a section in there for meal plan and dining. There is a helpful link within the on-campus housing section for what to bring. So the twin Excel sheets are mentioned in there. So be sure to check that out. I will again drop that in the chat right now.
Thank you so much. Okay, so as we were busy presenting and throwing lots of information at you over the past 50 minutes, you have been incredibly busy putting about 140 questions in the Q&A. So we've answered about 50 or 60, and we are going to rapidly try to go through and answer as many of them in the next 10 or so, 15 minutes or so as possible. So I'll queue up our presenters, and then obviously presenters, please feel free to jump in too if I'm missing something or if there's something that you want to elaborate on. There is a summer program. I'm assuming when people are referring to that, they may be referring to our DSP, Direction of Student Potential Summer Program. Corey or Sharon, do you want to just clarify who needs to go to that quickly and what that looks like?
Yeah, sure thing. So the DSP summer program is a referral program. And so if students have gone through and paid an enrollment deposit and we're communicating to you on that front, there is no required summer program. It would just be the orientations that Phil talked about a little bit earlier. If you've been referred to the DSP program, there's a strong likelihood that you know that, and you'll need to complete a 6-week kind of academic preparatory program in order to be accepted to the university. But if you have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to the admissions office and we'll clear that up for you.
Students
Corey,
that are
if I-
referred to, oh, go ahead, please.
I'm sorry, John. I just real quickly wanted to say too, though, for the parents that may be thinking, but does that mean my students won't get to be part of orientation? As part of successful completion with the DSP program, those students will then attend the part 2 of orientation with all of our other students for the campus engagement phase. They just don't attend part 1 because they have this whole intensive academic support program as part of DSP, so it wouldn't make sense. So I hope that helps.
Thank you. Students are packaged, students that have been referred, and you would know if you were referred to DSP, they do get packaged for financial aid just like every admitted student did. So as long as you've completed your FAFSA and gone through the steps, you should have received a financial aid award. You do not need to wait to the end of the program to receive that. So if you have applied and you haven't received it, you should reach out to our financial aid office to see if there's something going on, but you should have received your normal financial aid package. And as long as you complete the program, then your aid will be set. Is that anything to add to that, Katie?
The OneStop is really the first stop. So if you're wondering where your if you thought you should have a financial aid award,
Yes.
don't by now, you want to reach out to the OneStop, where you also, there was a lot of questions about how do you set up a Zoom appointment, and the OneStop can also help with that as well as Sharon dropped in the link for the financial aid Zoom. So there's 2 places where you can set up the Zoom appointment, but get it, you know, you want to get your answers soon. So
the proof of vaccination, we've always had an immunization process. There's immunization forms in the link that Corey provided. There is a section that references over to health services. So I think, Rob, it's safe to say that students will just go through the regular process of showing proof of vaccination, including COVID vaccine. Is that fair?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Is the garage covered to keep our vehicles in? We do. I think it's 7 floors, 8 floors. How many floors is the garage?
A lot of floors.
A lot of floors. And they're all covered except for the top one. So just don't drive to the top
Oh
floor.
no, the top one is covered now too because there's solar panels on top of it, right?
It's been so long. You are correct. I think that is correct. Okay, so we answered that question. Roommate matching, I think Melinda covered that. The steps are housing reservation fee, housing application, do the contract, and then you'll get information about roommate matching. Is that fair to say?
That is correct. It will be sent to the students' UMass Boston email account.
Okay. And what do they get to pick their type of room that they want and their roommate specifically?
Yes, they do. So regardless of what the preference was that was put on the housing application, during roommate selection, students can go in and pick any room type that is available.
Great question about living on campus, between percent living on campus, not living on campus. We're so modest, we didn't even talk about the fact that we have an enormous freshman class, very proud of that, and a large number of in-state, but also a really large number of out-of-state students, actually a record number of out-of-state students joining us. Our residence hall holds 1,076 bodies, is that correct, Melinda?
1,077, close.
77, oh, I left one out. There's some RAs that live there. So about a little under 50% of our first year incoming class or so could be living in the residence hall. We also have a lot of students that live in nearby apartments, Harbor Point Peninsula, but that gives you a little bit of a breakdown on the living side of things. A lot of questions, and then anyone else who wants to jump in about classes. So yes, we are planning for a return to fall that would be a normal face-to-face operation. That's our plan at this moment. We've always offered online classes. We'll continue to offer those. We probably will offer more. That is our plan. And we're also looking at offering courses in a little bit more in a remote modality than we would have normally prior to COVID. But I also don't want to set expectations such that every student would be able to participate in UMass Boston fully remotely. That's not the way we've operated. We really do value a face-to-face education. And so our plan is to do as much of that as possible, but also still provide some flexibility for online classes and remote classes. So that will all be worked out through June, but I don't want to give the impression that every single student, if they wanted to, would be participating in a UMass Boston education remotely. But certainly students have always mixed in for face-to-face and an online class. That's not uncommon at UMass Boston. I think that sums up that. Sharon just dropped in the chat the DSP hours. Thank you for that, because I saw that. There is a welcome week before the first day of classes. I think still welcome week normally runs like a week or two of activities that your division helps run. Is that correct?
Yes, so details will be forthcoming about the welcome week plans. It's more almost in a way like a welcome month of events. So we're really excited, and the team in student activities and across the division is working very hard on a plan for this coming year, since it's been 18 plus months since we've all been on campus, and we're excited to welcome you all back. While I'm off mute, I don't know, in the chat I saw something about 504 plan, and it is kind of related to orientation, so I'd be happy to take that. So for those of you that might be wondering about the 504 plans or IEPs that your students may have had in high school, in college, the ability to identify and receive resources and support that you would have perhaps received through a 504 plan or an IEP is the responsibility of the student to self-identify with the university. It's not something where we will reach out and say, you had this and therefore we are offering it to you. And students are able to do that through the Ross Center for Students with Disabilities on campus. They are part of the phase 1 orientations that students will attend. So they will have the ability to learn more at that orientation. And there will also be a session for parents as part of that 9-part workshop series for you to attend to learn more as well. So details to follow, but the Ross Center, if you search them on the website, there's plenty of information about them there as well.
I'm going to queue up my admissions colleagues to answer a couple of rapid questions. Change a major, can I change my major? Will it affect my scholarship? Will it affect my admissions decision? All things change a major. When do I do it? How do I do it?
Change of major is available on the website and in the portal, Sharon?
Yes, it's in the portal, yes.
Available in the portal, or you can search change of major at UMass Boston. It's a DocuSign form. It comes directly to our office. We will notify you if the change of major has been approved or rejected for competitive programs. The only program that we're really not entertaining change of major form at this time is our nursing program, and it will not impact financial aid or merit scholarship in any way, shape, or form.
Final transcripts are due. Final high school transcripts are due.
I was just about to type that. So final high school transcripts are due soon after your student graduates. Your high school officials should be sending that over to us directly. That is, by us, I mean the admissions office. Most counselors are sending it through Naviance. If they're not, they can email it to us and we will provide the email address to you as well.
And as another quick plug, I know many students did submit, for those students that applied with test scores this year, many did submit unofficial test scores or self-reported test scores. We will be requiring official test scores if you were admitted to the university under a test opt-in. So please feel free to either send those scores via your high school counselor or directly from the College Board, SAT, or ACT.
Questions about advising. When will I meet with my advisor? How do I know who my advisor is? And also somewhat related, the advising hold. I'm going to start, Phil, and then you can jump in. All students are broken up by college. When they go to that June orientation, they will meet with someone in their college specific. It may not be their exact advisor this first time, but they'll certainly be meeting with an academic person within their college. The advising hold, and I'm thrilled that people are logging into Wiser and asking about this. That's phenomenal. We put those holds on all students so that they have to see an advisor to get registered for classes at the beginning. Anything to add to that, Phil?
Nope, it's perfect. And ultimately that hold will be removed by the advisor when they attend that advising appointment. It will not be removed before, and it will not be removed by contacting orientation and asking to have it removed. They have to go through orientation, see the advisor, and then the hold is removed.
Thank you. And then I don't know, I know it's somewhat maybe not, MBTA discounts, passes, that's typically something we've done. I don't know where we are with that at this point in time. Do you, by any chance?
I unfortunately do not. I apologize. Is that a transportation thing? I would think the parking and transportation office.
Yeah, and I know sometimes student activities has helped promote it, but okay. So that's a lingering question we'll get back to. I know that we have communications that are going out around the buses. Shuttle buses do run generally on a very regular schedule. We're working on that. Obviously, there's some health and safety pieces we need to keep in mind with that. But I think more information will be coming around MBTA. We've typically always provided an MBTA discount. I think it's usually around 11% student discount that they get. I'm assuming that would operate again, but stay tuned. I don't know if that's 100% been confirmed as of right now. Someone asked a question that's somewhat specific about the fact that they are seeing UMass Dartmouth Financial Aid Award listed. That happens sometimes if you've applied to multiple UMass campuses. Congratulations on selecting the right UMass Boston. But you actually can go into Wiser and change your institutional preferences. If you get confused about that, contact the OneStop. It's not completely uncommon. It does happen every once in a while, but we want you here, so we will take care of that and assist you. But you can change your institutional preference. We covered move-in day, AP credits.
John, you're right on this. I was literally
it.
about to type that one. Yes, we absolutely take AP credits. Please request that your scores be sent to us from the College Board. Most tests, we are looking for a score of a 4 or a 5, and we do have the equivalency chart directly on our website as well, which should be in the FAQ.
And to piggyback on the AP credits, if you've taken any dual enrollment classes, someone had a comment about having taken a Bunker Hill Community College class. Please send those official transcripts in as soon as possible. We will send back a transfer credit evaluation, letting you know if you have been awarded any credit. And we would encourage you to try to do so prior to your orientation session, just so any of our academic advisors can see classes that you've already earned credit for.
I'm scanning, but if anyone else...
While you're scanning, I could share, there was a question about family weekends. So we are in the process of planning a fall family weekend in October, if all is approved to do so. So I don't want to share a date yet because we're still waiting for the blessing of executive leadership at the university. But we are moving forward with plans to have some family weekend events this coming fall. So part of that will be shared out in the family distribution newsletter that you will all be added to as part of members of our UMass Boston community now.
I had seen a good question about commuters and meal plans.
They're all good questions, Corey. They're all
You're
good
right.
questions.
But it struck me, John, as a particularly good question, one that people should know about. So if you're living in the residence hall, you are required to have a meal plan. There's information in the parent FAQ about that, but certainly students that are either commuting from home and or living off campus in the nearby community are welcome to either get a full residential meal plan, or there are commuter meal plan options too. Students can also use their Beacon card and can load money onto their Beacon card to kind of use conveniently throughout a variety of different dining locations on campus, or in most cases, cash and credit are accepted too.
I'd like to address something about email addresses. So once your UMass Boston email, and I'm speaking for the financial aid office, but I believe other offices as well. Once that UMass Boston email address is created and the student is given a UMass Boston email address, that is the email address that we communicate with students exclusively. So know that any emails coming out of Wiser about financial aid awards and those kind of things are going to the student's UMass email address. They also have the option to add it to set it up so that it goes to other email addresses. And I strongly recommend that they do that as well, so that they are sure to get all the notices, but we do exclusively communicate through UMass Boston email.
Thank you for that point, Katie. We're going to continue for a couple more minutes. And again, this is not the last opportunity. And I apologize if we've missed. We're doing the best we can to scan all of these. Placement tests, math and English, Corey or Phil, or who, I don't know who best to.
Yeah, I was just following up with someone from our academic support services the other day. We should have some information that is forthcoming on that front. Nothing that anyone needs to worry about at this moment in time, and it'll be a fairly low kind of barrier to entry for that, but something ideally that we'll like folks to complete prior to their orientation. But again, we'll give you at least a number of weeks prior to orientation to begin to work on that.
A couple of questions I'll throw out there. Melinda, you might want to take one, but anyone else that wants to take them. Upper class housing and how that works. I know that's not exactly your domain, but we do an off-campus housing. Maybe you can comment on that. And then commuting mail plan. We do have a commuting mail plan as well.
Yes. So for upperclassmen, if a student is in the residence hall their freshman year or their sophomore year, they can apply to return for a next year. It's not guaranteed, but they can definitely apply. For upper class housing, we do have an off-campus housing department that can assist with resources. They have a website, a great website with resources and how and where to look for housing and potential roommate matching. And meal plan, you already said yes.
Yes. Yes, I want to reiterate that we've recorded this, so you get to hear all of my jokes again if you would like. Sharon will assist us in sending this out tomorrow, the presentation, and someone has requested that's doing this on the go. That's very COVID 2021 of you. We understand. We will do the best we can in that email to capture some of the links that we've referred to. Wiser, the page that Corey referenced that has an FAQ has a ton of the links that we've talked about, the OneStop for making an appointment. So we'll hit some of those key ones in the follow-up email for those of you who have not been able to grab those links as we've shared them.
There was a good question someone in here had about international students and starting the process for I-20s. So all students that have submitted enrollment deposits that are international and will need a student visa should have received an email with a link to, I think it's called UMass Boston, like iVIP, where you'll use your MyUMB portal credentials to go in and you can begin uploading financial documents that go directly to our global programs office. And then our DSOs will, once all the documentation has been uploaded, we'll begin the process of issuing your I-20. If you have any questions about that whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact the Office of Admissions and we'll make sure we get you that URL.
A follow-up to Katie's point around the email. If you have matriculated, you submitted your deposit, then you do have your UMass Boston email address that's been activated. You can go on that and claim your account. And I guess we will conclude with a question about food because I have not eaten and I'm starving. And so, Melinda, can they take food back to their residence hall, to their room?
That's a complicated question, John. So
Perfect.
typically, no. From the dining common, everything is usually served on china currently this year, it's actually being served on plastic, yes, stuff that can go back to the room. Many students choose to take their items up to the room. So for next year, if you do eat elsewhere on campus, of course, you can get a to-go box and bring it back to your room. From the dining common, they do discourage that because it's China and that cannot leave the dining common.
And the dining common is beautiful, so you want to sit down there, enjoy the view, and strike up a conversation with the classmates. So,
John,
panelists, yes.
I just wanted to say that there were a couple of questions in regards to what they have to do to accept their scholarship or free grant money and loans. And so I replied back to some folks and stated that, no, you don't have to do anything to accept the scholarship or the grant aid. But if you are looking at your financial aid award and you are interested in borrowing the student loans that were offered to you or your daughter or son, they have to complete the entrance counseling and the master promissory note. So even though the loan amount would be pending on your bill and you'll see it, if the students do not complete the master promissory note and the entrance counseling, eventually that pending aid is going to disappear off their bill and the rail money will not disperse onto their bill. So it's very important that you do those 2 loan steps if you're interested in borrowing the loans that you are awarded.
And
Thank
also to piggyback on that, I hope that people understood that they don't need to accept the full loans. You can ask for a portion of it if if you have enough aid, if you have enough to cover everything but $500, but you got a $5,500 loan, you let us know and we'll decrease those loans. There's no problem with that. That is the max. You're offered the maximum. No one needs to take a loan ever. But we can reduce those. That's just the max.
And people may want to wait until they get their bill and see it before they decide to make any loan adjustments. That's just, if you cancel it by accident, you can always reinstate it. But
Absolutely.
I would advise just maybe to wait and see what your bill versus your financial aid really looks like when the actual bills come out before making a decision. You have plenty of time to adjust your loans. So that would just be my recommendation.
And that's great advice, Nina, because nothing's going to be dispersed until confirmation of attendance is they're actually in classes. So you never have to worry about the loan going and not being able to cancel it and all of those kind of things. So you do have there is plenty of time to think about that loan stuff and work it out once the bill is established in July.
Excellent. Okay, we have covered the world, I think, from what you can eat in the China that you're eating it on to getting your loan. Thank you very much, panelists and staff. Thank you for all the parents, guardians, students, whoever out there in the Zoom world has joined us. It was a great crowd, and we really do appreciate all your questions. We will follow up tomorrow with the links. And the page that Corey referenced has a ton of links to the things that we talked about broken down by subject matter. So financial aid, housing, dining, university health services. So please check that out and stay tuned. We'll continue to communicate with you throughout the summer. And we cannot wait to see you, hopefully at a wonderful program that Phil is going to be planning in August. So thank you everyone for participating. Appreciate it.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.